We're live, Laura.
Yes, we are.
I'm putting on my powder.
Oh my gosh. Don't forget the top of your head. That's
Oh,
where
yeah.
you really need it.
Can you?
Ooh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Okay, I look ridiculous. Let me rub this powder in. Welcome in, everyone. I am just putting on some powder I found at the bins last week. We'll talk about this in a little while. Smells like an old lady on a Sunday morning. I know. I know. What's going on in your office today, Laura?
Not much. Not much at all. I don't think.
It's Columbus Day. You should be off, right?
Oh, that's right. It is. Completely forgot.
Yes. Sure, that's powder, Dave. I don't know. I haven't checked it, but I trust that everything at Goodwill is what it says, and it works great. So what's up, everybody? Thanks for jumping in. We will talk about our past week. We had a busy week. If anybody follows us on Instagram, there was a lot of posts about Posh Fest, how that was. Lori and I were involved. We did a pre-Posh Fest party. We were co-sponsors with that with eBliss, and really got to know some really cool people there, co-hosts. And Poshmark, for people that don't sell on Poshmark, it's something to consider if you're selling all types of, I would just say, fashion. What other things did it sell, Laura? Like you mentioned.
Poshmark you can do home goods in addition to fashion. I think you can do pet products. Like fashion, it's not just fashion, it's fashion and accessories. Okay. So that includes like shoes and handbags and sunglasses. I think jewelry. I'm not 100% sure about that. But definitely anything that's considered fashion.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to start selling on Poshmark a little bit. Because we do sell, occasionally we come across clothes that are almost too good to pass up. So, and they are difficult to list, especially on eBay. We're not really used to that. So sometimes we just push them aside. But how are we going to go about doing it?
We are going to use Vendoo to cross-post the existing listings that we have on eBay to easily put them on Poshmark. So I'm in the process of figuring out what items we're going to do that with. Figuring out that process, how to work Vendoo, how to work Poshmark. It's a whole new world.
Yes. Yeah. I started off selling clothes, and it was challenging because even the photos don't speak at all. Like you have to really use a good description. And I think that's what happened with eBay, especially with item specifics. They almost like are allowing people to get more detail with the item specifics to eliminate the gray area. Now, I know there's probably a ulterior motive to using item specifics. I don't want to get into too much with eBay, as they formulate and, their catalog, let's just call it. But I do believe selling on eBay, the clothes with all the item specifics will help, but it's a pain in the neck. I mean, we know that, and we've been spoiled because we sell such commodity type of items based on a model number. You punch it in, pre-populates everything, and you're good to go. You sell similar, and your listings are done quickly. When was the last time you listed clothes, Laura?
Oh, it's been a long time since I listed clothes. I can't even tell you. Like personally, myself, like actually listed them, you mean? Or like we processed them?
Both.
It's been a while. It's not one of my favorite things.
How about shoes?
To be honest. Shoes, I think shoes, if you know shoes, it could be a little easier to do. They're definitely easier to photograph. To me, shoes are very similar to the electronics that we do. Clothes, they're so floppy, and unless I guess you're using a mannequin, and then you have to put it on the mannequin. Do you use a half mannequin? Do you use a full mannequin?
Flat lay.
Right. And then to not use one at all, you do flat lay. Like we just actually, and I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but we do offer that option at eBliss to take photos for our clients' items. And we had the opportunity to take about a dozen different, a dozen listings, one of our clients who travels the country in an RV. So she normally takes her pictures, and I think they're awesome because it looks like to me she's taking them in like Rocky Mountain National Park every single time. I don't know if it's a real backdrop. I don't know if she has a fake like looking woods like backdrop. I don't know what she does. I think her lighting's great because it's usually all natural light and it's pretty bright. And I was like, how are we going to top that? Because our pictures aren't going to look like that at all.
Yeah.
But I think we did a pretty good job in taking her pictures. And I don't know if she's going to continue as sort of like an experiment for her to see if it was worth it. But, you know, every once in a while we'll do that. So, and she does shoes. So it was very easy to take her pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shoes are easier. Mm-hmm. They're not easy. Now, Lori and I, we've been spoiled with just commodity electronic type of items with the model number. So we're gonna get into the clothes. We're gonna start listing more on Poshmark. Lori mentioned that we're going to use a cross-posting software, Vendu, to help us with that. There's many different cross-listing, cross-posting software programs out there, so you could research whatever you'd like. So we are going to give that a shot. Hi, guys. Finally caught a live show. I don't know who this is. Do you know who it is?
No, I don't, but glad they're here.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's what we were told.
That's what, yeah. Long story.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, we have the most amazing mail carrier that there ever could be. His name is Tony. He is awesome. And he knows how much we rely on him. He knows how much our business relies on him doing what he's supposed to do. So for the last how long have we been there? 3 years?
Yeah.
He has been awesome. But we're getting to the point where our volume is probably more suited to a different kind of pickup. And so that's called a carrier pickup, I believe, or something, or route. I forget.
I said
what
courier.
the name is.
I said courier.
Courier or something. I forget.
Okay.
I really don't know, to be honest. I forget the exact term. Anyway, that person has a larger truck and he has specific people that he picks up regularly, pretty much at the same time every day. So right now we decided we were just going to do that on Mondays because Mondays is the largest day that we have for shipping. And so this particular carrier comes by on Friday and says, I'm going to be, do you want me to come by on Monday? I'm like, but Monday's a holiday. He goes, oh no, but I'll be working. I was like, okay, sure. If you're going to come by, we'll be ready. I texted him about half an hour ago and he's, oh no, I'll be in there tomorrow because of the holiday. I'm just like, I knew it was a holiday. Did you not know it was a holiday? I don't know.
Right, so we
thought we were going to get picked up. The good news is that none of it's late. It's all marked for tomorrow. Everything that had to go out has to go out until tomorrow. So not a huge deal, except that we have all this stuff ready to go. And now we have to ship for tomorrow again and then add to it. And so it just becomes a little bit of a logistical, whatever.
But what is left of my credibility on Instagram is almost shot.
Well,
I'm posting like they're coming to get us. Look at us.
They were supposed to.
Okay, that's the thing. And I trust you, not the postal carrier.
That's what I was told. I mean, I can only go by what I was told. Clearly, I got wrong information.
Okay, well, somebody will pick it up on a less observed type of holiday. Like Christmas morning, they're not coming here.
No.
New Year's Eve, they're not coming here. There's a handful. I went to the site. There's a handful of holidays and like maybe Veterans Day, Columbus Day, Martin Luther King. Those are the type of there's a term for it. But anyway, so thanks for, pouring salt in the wound, Paul. Have a great day. And let's say he's busting our chops, but we deserve it. Patrick, hello. Yes, Patrick, thanks for jumping in. And this is what happens when you ditch Tony. He ditched us. He says, you guys, I'm going to need a bigger truck. I'm going to have to phone this into corporate, so to speak. Because he normally on every average day at eBay, we have maybe 50-ish packages, 60, and he could handle that with a regular. Is that about right? Or close enough, right? Give or take.
Between the two.
Right, and everything, right?
Everything, yeah.
So he's like, "I could handle that, that's fine," but it's on typically on Mondays after a longer weekend, we'll have like 100, and because check this out, like, Paul, you may know because you've sold on Posh or you still sell on Poshmark. Poshmark generates the label for the seller, which makes it very easier. It's a priority mail label. So any priority mail box supplied by the post office, boom, you just slap it on, you're good to go. So we do that actually, even though some of that stuff could go into a poly mailer, we're still like, you know what, let's just take precaution and still put it in a priority for most of that stuff. So that takes up a lot of bulk. So we have a ton, especially on Monday.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, a lot of times there are bundles for the Poshmark sellers who sell 5 to 6 or 12 items at once, and they require big boxes. You can't put those in poly mailers.
So everything on Poshmark is easier, yes.
It is for shipping. That's probably, in my opinion, the only thing.
Probably right. Yeah, we could get into all these platforms, but you know us, we're strictly eBay, but we are branching off and going to list some clothes, some shoes, accessories on Poshmark, really just to try it out. It doesn't hurt. I just wish there was another like a similar platform to eBay that we could sell our electronics on. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace." I just don't know if that's really worth our time. That's the thing with the volume that we have, and you've given it some thought, right, Laura?
I have, and it's a type of well, this is the thing. If you're a one-person show, I think cross-listing is a lot easier to manage because you're doing everything. You know everything, you know where everything goes, you know everything is, you know when you have to ship or where you have to ship. We don't have that because we have employees. So we have a whole process that we have created that doesn't really lend itself well to multiple platforms. It's like, okay, now we have to train our people to check all these other platforms to ship. I mean, it may not be worth it because we're paying them to do that. So we have to factor that into the equation.
Yeah. Yeah, once you get to a certain level, sometimes, and that's a thing, solopreneur versus entrepreneur. We always talk about that. Paul has some, I believe, listers. I believe he probably does most of the shipping himself. So yeah, that makes it a little bit easier if you have it all up here and you're like, let me check all the platforms and you're centralized. But when you delegate, it could get a little nuts. Shipping listing, when they send you an offer, you accept it, the item sells right away. You don't have to wait to get paid. Right. S, I don't know what's going on in S's world. Mercado Libre C, yep. Yeah. Okay. He's on fire. S, we do have some people that may know a little bit about Ukraine, Russia in the chat. So sell the garlic. I want garlicpowder.com. There's always a site for everything. So anywho, so that's that. We're definitely leaning towards just dabbling in Poshmark just to familiarize ourselves with that platform, using some cross-listing software out there just to familiarize us, especially because half of our clients at eBay cross-post, right?
Yeah, I would definitely. I don't know how many do, but probably a good number. But most of them usually don't cross-list to more than 3 or 4 platforms, from what I can tell. So it's really not that, extensive.
You were not on Instagram stories this afternoon because Lori was working. I made a story. I went into a Carmine's, got 2 slices and a Diet Coke. Like 20 years ago, that would be like $3.50, right? $3.50. It was $8.95. I'm like, I got to give it a shot. It's right here, right? I made a post. I sat down and young waitress gal, 17, 16, whatever, she goes, "Oh, can I get you anything else?" I look at this slice and I envision some oregano and some garlic powder, like on the table, just. So I said, "Do you have any garlic powder?" And she goes, "We have garlic butter."
What?
And I made a post. I don't know because I'm I'm a stranger in a strange land out here. Like I know you go into any pizza place, East Coast, sprinkle some stuff on, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
I
there's
just
usually 3 things on the table: the oregano, the garlic powder, and the Parmesan,
Oh, well, out
right?
here it's the red pepper too. Well, that you could get
Oh,
that
yeah,
at
and the
East
red
Coast.
pepper, right,
Yeah,
4
so
things,
4.
I forgot about that.
So I was just like, I looked at this kind of bland. I just get cheese plain slice. You have to order cheese slices out here. They don't know what plain means. And so I was like, I'm probably going to need to spruce it up. And she said garlic butter. And I was like, I have to make a post about this because, I mean, the world wants to know what's going on in my head every minute, right? I got to ease off Instagram stories, I think. A little bit. A little bit.
Maybe.
Okay, I'm having fun with this. Some of it's kind of cool, but some of it's like I'm always viewing my life now through the lens of a
Yeah,
15-second cameo or whatever in
that's not good.
Instagram. Okay, so I'll stop.
Yeah.
Let me take a break. So I pretty much said garlic powder, yada yada yada, and you could go back and check it out.
I'll do that later.
I live for pause. See, this is what happens. We all kind of boost each other up. I like his stuff. He likes mine. We're all in a nice echo chamber and one happy family. Yeah.
Well,
But
I have
hey,
to say
come on.
you do a good job with them. I mean, that's why people like seeing them, I think.
Mhm.
You do a good job. It's just that when they start to interfere with life, like, oh, I can't eat my dinner because I have to take these pictures and make a story first, and I'm sitting there we're waiting, it's like,
It wasn't just any ordinary dinner.
yeah, but you can
It was
take the
our
picture.
26th
You can take
wedding.
the pictures and do the story later. The story doesn't
Ah,
have to be done that
oh,
immediate
you're
minute.
right. You're right. You're right. But I don't want to put out at dinner at 1 a.m. So it
Nobody's
was our
doing that.
26th wedding anniversary. I'm like, wait, this is a beautiful. And like the flow of the evening was just interrupted. I understand. I don't
I
believe that.
forgive you.
Thank you. so it was a fun, busy week. We were dealing with the Posh Fest and the pre-party. You know what I'm talking about? It's a pre-party. That's a tongue twister. Pre-party Posh Fest party, and it was a good time. It really was. And so that is done. Now this upcoming week, Lori and I are working hard to get eBliss all smooth as could be, and our reselling business, we're loading up on a lot of inventory to process and list because Saturday or Friday we are driving. Would you like to share?
Yeah, we're driving to Vegas. Road trip. And we had previously had flights planned and a nice rental car planned. And after this weekend, we decided, you know what? Maybe we'll just drive. We plan to do some sourcing while we're out there, going to the flea markets and maybe even the bins. We're going to go to ThriftCon. So, maybe it would be a good idea to have our own car, be able to not have to worry about getting the stuff back on the plane. So, yeah, we're driving.
It's 11 and a half hours to Vegas from Denver. It doesn't thrill me to do it, but it's uncharted territory. We've never driven through Utah, so I heard it's
Right.
beautiful. So that could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
Weather should be good, at least
yeah,
once we get out of Colorado, for sure.
yeah. And we had tickets on Southwest, as you know. Southwest ran into a lot of bad weather lately, and they had to Southwest. It must be like rain clouds over every Southwest terminal in the country. So 1,800 of their flights were grounded, literally
Canceled over the weekend.
So
Yeah.
we don't want to run that risk. So we're
No.
like, let's do this because Southwest actually is kind of cool. And I'm not just saying that because we're all rah Southwest, but compared to other airlines, they've been solid. And even if you cancel your reservation, you get credits, which is pretty neat. So we're going to do that. And Paul knows it's bad weather all over the country. It's 80 degrees. Well, it was 80 degrees over the weekend here. And
even the weather people said it's pretty calm everywhere. I don't understand where they're talking about this from.
Yeah. It's the deal. So we're going to drive out there. So we're going out there for a conference that starts next Monday night, a week from today, a week from right now.
Yeah.
It's the Boss Reseller Remix.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I always forget, what does BOSS stand for?
Business online selling success.
I think that's right.
I think that's right. Yeah.
BOSS. You could
Yes.
Google, you
It's a
could Google
Facebook
it.
group. It's
Yeah.
a Facebook group. Yeah.
And this is the first year they're having this in person get together, remix conference. It's going to be upwards of close to 300 people, which is a lot, which is like planning a major wedding.
Right. But
Major.
we're sponsoring it. We're one of the sponsors of this event.
That's right.
So
So
we have to
300.
be there.
So 300 people is kind of like a small Italian wedding.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
It's a huge Irish wedding. And even though our wedding, I think we had 135 people at ours.
Oh, not even.
Oh, okay. So this is a decent group of people. It's all resellers, and there's going to be sponsors, like Lori said. We're going to be co-sponsoring this, and so we're excited to meet a lot of people that we know from Instagram and such,
and elsewhere, even locally. There's some of our people we know from the Denver meetup group. They're going out there. Some people we know online that we've never met in person. So it should be fun. Looking forward to it. Weather is going to be just very, very nice.
Oh,
way better than we're used to in Vegas, because we normally go in July with eBay open. Like that's the only two. I think that's the only 2 times I've ever gone to Vegas, right, Dave? Me like that, like for me.
You've
been there at other times, but
not during
every time I've been there, it's been sweltering.
I always say it's like somebody having a hairdryer blowing on you the whole time. I thought it was cool. I like that kind of extreme heat without the humidity, because it's
not that extreme.
Yeah. So it's neat. So we're going out there, and as far as eBay Open, I know we're all over board with this, but what's your take on eBay Open? In terms of the cost. Like, let's just say Paul, for example, coming from Philly.
Yeah.
What would you say? Like, what are the pros and cons of eBay?
Well, I did. Almost every person you ever talk to that has gone to eBay Open has always said it was a very good investment in their business. They had a lot of fun. They learned a lot. I mean, it all is depending, I guess, on it. Personally, I feel like you get in what you get out of what you put in. If you go there and you you don't network, or you don't participate in the seminars, or you don't take advantage of what they're offering, you're not going to get as much out of it. So maybe you don't think it's that much of a not a bargain, but it was worth the money.
Yeah.
It's not just some place to go to totally socialize. I mean, that would be kind of silly. I think they do a really good job in trying to put on a really good event, and they're very generous with food and drinks and entertainment and things like that. And so if you're willing to put out the money to go, I think they do a good job in reciprocating that effort.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss it. I mean, I hate that it's in July in Vegas, but what are you going to do?
Right. And, everybody's always so cost conscious, especially in reselling. We're all cheap. We're all thrifters. I can't remember the last time I went to a retail store. I know you went last week. Right. But you went to Kohl's. That doesn't really, you could still get good deals there. But I think as resellers, it's just like, is it really worth the $400 for the ticket or whatever it is just to get into eBay Open? And then I have to get this, and upon this, it adds up. I mean, it's definitely a $1,500 investment in your business just for one person. So that's my take, because you're going to buy all food and stuff. So I would say, it's definitely something to look ahead towards, especially for the networking. And I would say go out there with a friend, have fun. Like it is easy to duck and just hide from people and get lost in the mix of, a couple thousand people, but it's still kind of fun because it has a community feel to it.
Right. And that's the other thing I was going to say is, if you do go outside of your comfort zone, if that's what you're doing, if you go by yourself, I mean, you will meet people that will become your friends later. I mean, that you will stay in touch with most likely. And a lot of people have done that we know of. I mean, I can tell you of a few people off the top of my head who literally went to eBay Open and did not know anybody, and now they have lifelong friends. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's your goal, but it's good. We like it. We hope they do it next year.
I think they're all worth going to at least once, maybe
Yeah.
twice. Even Posh Fest. Lori and I we were all set to fly to Orlando.
We were supposed to be there right now, down there in Florida.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
gonna visit
Come.
relatives.
Yep. So we had that all planned out, but that got canceled and that went virtual. So that was last week. eBay Open this year was all virtual. They didn't even make an attempt to really try to have it in person. And so the Boss Reseller Remix, which is a Facebook group. Or go ahead, Laura.
No.
I don't know
That's
much
correct.
about it. It's a
Oh no,
Facebook group.
it's a Facebook group run by resellers to help other resellers.
Okay, so it's
There are many of those.
Yeah, and it's been around for a couple of years.
Mhm.
They have a lot of strong moderators and admin people in that group, and they're throwing that. They're putting that on this year, first time inaugural, and I think if it goes well, they'll have it next year. It's a lot of work, so we're going to do that. We actually weren't planning on going because we were just going to do Posh Fest, and we didn't want to come back and have like a couple days and then go out there. It was going to be a lot. So we're kind of excited to have that opportunity to at least do that this year.
Yep.
Right. So now it's a matter of finding where to stay, which we think we found a place. So I'm going to get into some stuff that I picked up this past week that I just want to share with the group. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second here. It's the most cumbersome part about this whole thing right here. So I was able to at the bins come across a beat up turntable like right here. It's a dual, vintage turntable like this. It was all cracked, bashed up, parts missing, the whole bit. I just want to let people know, like, especially if you go to the bins or even garage sales, people just unloading this stuff. And I made a post on Instagram today. Selling parts of items is huge. This turntable right here, nobody grabbed it. I'm like, let me bring it back to my little corner of Goodwill outlet, sit on the floor and pound away on my phone and try to find if there's any value. So what I did was I typed in dual turntable right here. And what I do is I search from lowest to lowest first. So I sorted this way to scroll, and I scroll from lowest highest. And as I'm scrolling, I know my price point is $20 and above for a small little component. I'll take off. So I was scrolling, and normally these are counterweights. I was like, oh, this has got to be worth something. I was like, no, look, it's only like $12. It's not worth it. So I kept on scrolling. I'm like, oh, here's something here. Let me pass on that. Kept on going. Got into all this wires. I'm like, I'm not into that. Then I came across this thing, and it's a spindle.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I was like, where is that on this thing? And sure enough, it was like tucked. It was like like on a Game Boy, the stylus, where they put it was like tucked in. And I pulled this thing out. I'm like, this is a spindle. Wow. And for $34 plus $10 shipping. Well, that's from Poland. Let me go.
And the next one says 44.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so
49, 50.
Yeah, there you go. $50. Let's wait. $50 for this little piece of metal that will cost $3 and whatever cents to ship. And I'm like, this is why you do what you do at the bins. You go there and you cannibalize stuff. It's going to be chucked out and recycled anyway. It's not like you're going into a regular retail Goodwill store and like ripping stuff off. I mean, that you cannot do. I'm sure some people do, but I don't do it. So $50 for this little thing, right? So then I was like, all right, I know that with turntables, especially these things, let me pull this back off. Stop screen. These are the stylus and the cartridge. Now this is the arm, like what I did was what I do best. Sometimes I just crack it off. Okay, it's all broken. I can never, this had no value. So I cracked this off and took this piece because there's little screws and all this stuff. And I looked this up, and I'm going to share a screen again. And this goes back to just kind of cannibalizing a lot of this stuff. The cartridge on this, now these are for sale. There's nothing sold, but the cartridges on there, that alone, like this sells for, look right there, needs stylus. Somebody's asking $80 just for that little black piece right there. So I'm like, good deal. I looked, and there's no, we call it the needle, but it's actually called the stylus. If you rub your finger on it, you can feel like if there was a needle, and there's none. So there you go. I mean, this is the type of thing that I do at the bins. I just rip stuff apart.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have known that unless you looked it up, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just pounding away on your phone, kind of educate yourself on what's worthwhile and what's not. Roy, hey there, Dave and Lori. Hope all is well. Good to see you popping in. So Lori doesn't go sourcing much, but she does see what sells. So is there anything that jumps out when you see sales come through on your account?
Other than the big ones, I'm like, oh boy, where'd that come from? Oh, I sold something for over $100. Yay. I get excited. Honestly, I don't pay attention to my sales like you do on a daily basis. I just look at the totals. Like, I don't know. I don't pay attention to what is selling exactly as much as you do. So I really couldn't say. I'm more concerned about what we sold for the day between the two accounts.
Yeah. You're more like total for both accounts, even though Lori manages one eBay account and I manage the other. So yeah, that's just how we are. I'm going to share another thing that we always have fun at the bins when it comes to the following. We always find these in the bin.
Oh, God.
You know where I'm going with this, right?
Yes, I do.
And we play Miami Vice. Okay, we'll be like, hey man, you got the kilo, and like we do this exchange, like, oh no, I got 10 grand in here, and all, like we pretend like shtick. We do we do it every time we find a zero Halliburton, we pull the Miami Vice chat out, and he's like, yo man, I got the cocaine, man, you know what I'm saying? It's just it's a bunch of characters there. Yeah,
I know. I remember.
Yes, you do. So make the handoff, as Roy says. Yes, you make the quick handoff in a back alley. I'm in a Ferrari. The other guy's in a van with his buddies in the back, hopping out with Uzis. Lori and I gave Miami Vice a shot on Hulu or something like that.
We got through this into the second season. Is that how far we got?
It was bad. We tried. We really tried.
It wasn't that bad, but it had its slow moments.
It was
probably
not
was good back then, but
it was like, because it had, why? Because it had music. Like it had cool music. Oh. I think the first couple seasons or episodes, it was like very slow, boring, quiet, and then they started incorporating like I almost said Phil McCartney. That's Phil Collins. Right. And Paul McCartney, Phil Collins, like, what's that song? You could feel it coming, whatever. You get the point.
Anyway,
and it was pretty bad. I digress all the time. Well, it's up to you. Keep me on track.
Oh, okay.
So the Halliburton right here, if everyone could probably hopefully see, is they're $150
plus shipping.
Right. Yeah. So this metal thing right here, empty. I already checked. There's no money in it, and to ship it, $25. But you sell it for $140 and it's clean. People like that. I don't know. They usually put camera equipment. In their stuff. You padding, so that's pretty cool.
And how often do you get those in the bins? How often do you see those?
I say once every 2 months. I always grab them. Nobody else grabs them. It's zero Halliburton. Yes, Paul, I could drive a Ferrari soon. That's what he says. But we act pretty well. Yes, Laura.
What? I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
I was just agreeing with you.
Thank you. All right. So there you go. So those are some mini hauls that I really, I have tons of other stuff. I need to really pick these Bose remotes, Pioneer receiver remotes. How much you think each of these are, Laura?
The white ones, well, used to be, I think, at least $50.
Still is. Yep.
Okay. The Pioneer, I don't know, 30.
Yep. So all these remotes, mainly receiver remotes, are worth the money. So when you're out in the bins or Goodwill, always go to the little tub of all the remotes and just dig through them and take a look. So,
and the weirder the better too. Sometimes
yes.
weird. Didn't you remember how you had that sleep number remote?
Yeah. Did I show that last week?
I think you did.
No, I didn't show it here.
Oh,
I showed it on Instagram where there's remotes for beds like Sleep Number or what Comfort, Select Comfort, whatever. Those things are 70, 80 plus.
Any sort of automatic chair of any sort seems like, even those other ones, like I forget the name of it, some sort of recliner or something. Remember?
It's a remote?
Yeah. It wasn't for a bed. I thought it was for a chair of some sort. Or mattresses. Like that's the Sleep Number one. They come in all different sorts.
Yeah.
So or the chargers or the connectors, the AC adapters. Sometimes they're pretty good too.
Yeah, and just look them up. How hard is it? It's like 5 keystrokes.
The hardest thing is seeing it sometimes. I'd have to whip out my magnifying glass to see the model numbers.
Yeah, I seem to do pretty well with those little obscure electronic items. And our price point is $25 and above, including shipping. And so it's easier to find those in my mind than to go hunt through clothes and find those special items, which I have a tough time finding.
That's because we don't know what we're looking for.
Yeah. Now I don't have a screen share on these, but I just want to let you know what are these? Any idea?
Well, it looks like components of some sort of Cuisinart or something.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
These are Champion juicers.
Juicers, okay.
Yeah, they weigh a ton. And they're frequently at the bins or Goodwills. Complete, they sell for like 150-ish, but they're going to weigh so much to ship. So once again, nobody was grabbing this thing. So I took off 3 parts. This is $28. This is like a little funnel. You put your stuff in there, which, by the way, we need to start doing this. I want to start feeling better and getting healthy. We sell juicer parts, but we don't
use juicers.
But we should.
So I have a question for you, Dave. Yeah. How do you remember which model that comes from?
I take a picture of the model. Like what I do is I will take a picture of the model number on the item and either leave it in the bin, just take off a couple parts and go back, or I take the whole thing. But I definitely take a picture. It's on my phone, so when I come back to process, I know exactly what it belongs to. So.
Because otherwise, how would you know? I mean, it's like, where did this come from?
That's exactly true. Like I always do that when I'm taking parts off of something. I always take a picture. That's why I have reference exactly what it went to. And this thing right here is like 40-ish, $45. This is the grinder.
That one little piece.
Oh yeah, yep, 40. So 25, 40-ish, and then this piece right here is another 40-ish. So $120 just for 3 pieces that are easy to ship compared to the whole heavy component. Now I'm not into that anymore. The heavy shipping is a challenge.
Yeah, it's not only a challenge to ship, but it's risky because you got to do it right. Otherwise, it's not getting there intact.
Right. And let me bring this up. Here's another piece that I found just at the bottom of a bin. It's just an Xbox. I don't even know what the heck it is.
The wireless receiver.
Yeah.
Windows.
In the last video games I played was Atari. So I don't know what the heck this is, but
Looks like it's if you want to play the games on a computer.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So model number right on the back. Grab it in the bin, just laying at the bottom. Just all this small stuff. Bring it back, look it up, and it passes the test. And that's what we do.
Yeah, we love that small stuff that sells for higher price.
Yeah, that's why like our ASP, our average selling price is always around 45-ish still. I think
Actually
it's still,
higher.
okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
because I'm probably for a couple reasons, I'm no longer getting like the $18 items anymore. I'm trying to move up.
Right. Which I think makes sense.
What's Paul say?
He says, sorry, this my thing's in between here. Sorry, hold on. I'll read it. He's doing an eBay scam video that's getting released tomorrow. Should be a
Ooh.
doozy.
Yes.
Oh boy, he got scammed, or hope he didn't get scammed.
Nah. No,
Just like getting scammed, how to avoid getting scammed
Yeah.
on eBay type thing.
Yes. Those are always good because so many people starting out fall into the trap of just jumping when a buyer says they need something.
Right.
We're in control as sellers, and let's do that. And he got scammed. So tune into Philly Flipper on YouTube and check out that video. That's going to be good because it's not going to be good because he got scammed, but it's going to be enlightening and educational because it's to avoid certain things popping up. So that happens on eBay, even though eBay gets the bad rap all the time.
I'm sure it happens on all the platforms. I don't know why though, but scammers like to target new sellers, obviously, because they probably think a new seller doesn't know what they're doing and will do anything that is asked of them. And they don't know the rules or they don't know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are selling and you hardly have any feedback, that's when scammers try to target you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if you know what to look for, you can avoid it, hopefully.
Hey, Laura, close your eyes, and when I tell you to open them. All right. Cover your eyes.
All right.
Okay, you could open it. Look at Lori's face.
Oh my gosh. I cannot. Where did you have that in your office? I did not see that.
Behind my desk.
My gosh. Is that real?
It was.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, is it a real dead thing?
Yeah. Let me put it down because I'm going to get.
Oh my gosh. I'm surprised. Did Luna see that the other day? She probably would freak out.
No, I picked it up Saturday.
Oh, okay.
It's all shedding.
Ooh,
all right. The story behind that is I was at the bins 2 weeks ago. That came out in the bin. I was not there at the time when somebody grabbed that. I think I went out to grab something to eat. I came back and I saw it and he's like, "Hey, are you interested?" I'm like, "Yeah, probably." But I was kind of creeped out. I was like, "I'm not into it that much." But I looked them up and I don't have the comps, but they're like
$300?
They could, yeah, including shipping. I know. Yeah.
Ship that.
Why not?
I think that would be very difficult to ship.
It could be.
There intact.
Anyway, he called me back up a couple of days ago. He goes, "I don't want it. Why don't you take it?" I'm like, "All right, fine." So,
but why? Because it sells for $300?
Yeah, because we have the space for now, and I was thinking, like, give it a shot. Anyway, I knew you'd love it.
Ugh. Oh, thank you.
Yay. I had to clean. Everybody's happy now, right?
Yeah, much better.
Getting me in trouble. All right, two other things. I don't have a screen to share.
The Culligan Man. Is that the right thing?
Yeah, Culligan Man.
Yeah.
These you can find anywhere. Garage sales, yard sales, Goodwills, bins. People buy a ton of them and they're cleaning out their house, so they donate them. Boom, chuck them out. Get these for $1, $2 each. They sell for like $30, $40 each.
As long as they're sealed.
Right. I wouldn't. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't buy anything that was open and say, like new.
Oh, no. because most likely that's the old one in that box.
It's like selling like a Band-Aid that was open, saying it's like new. Who's gonna?
No, it's either new or not.
New or not, right? There's certain things. It's like it's either new or not. Don't
Right.
say like new.
Mm-mm.
You could say barely used, but not for like filters.
Right.
No, we're not into that. Keep on. I got to get something you could entertain the folks.
Oh, I can entertain the folks. Okay. Well, I don't know where he's going, but if anybody has questions, yeah, feel free to shoot them to us. Oh, what has he got there? What? Actually, that looks pretty good right there, Dave. That looks pretty clear. So hopefully that's what it will look like. That is our table covering for when we go out to Vegas. Since we're sponsoring that event, we have a vendor table. So we've got this created and we'll put it over our table when we stand there. So that should be fun. Did you hear? You didn't even hear any of that, did you?
Oh no, I didn't hear it.
Oh.
Italy. I need these
okay.
in. What'd you say? Did you talk about the pixelation?
I said it looked pretty good. Actually, from that vantage point, it looked pretty good. So hopefully that's what it will look like otherwise.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you go about getting that? Did you share?
I got that on Vistaprint. Yeah. Vistaprint's great. You can get so many things made. I mean, for certain things, it's not probably the most economical depending on what you're getting, but for quick, easy things, we use Canva to create whatever design that we're using, and then I just pull it in there. It's easier, I think, than creating things in Vistaprint. But yeah, when that first came, I was kind of disappointed because up close it is pixelated. The graphic wasn't clear enough, so but they didn't tell me that, so I thought it was going to be fine. And when it came in, I was like, oh, doesn't look that great, but what Dave just showed looked pretty good.
Yeah, so. It looks good from a distance, just like this.
But from close up, it is definitely pixelated. I keep forgetting to call him about that. Yeah, but it's huge. I mean, it's like what, an 8-foot thing. So you have to have a really, really good graphic to make sure that wasn't like that. And I guess mine wasn't good enough.
I thought we had like the top graphic available. Remember, she said like you. Okay.
That's what I thought too, but whatever.
That's fine. And what is this, a tablecloth or a runner or something?
Well, they call it a runner, but we're going to use it as a tablecloth.
Okay.
It's considered a runner, but to me, a runner goes lengthways on a table. This goes widthways, so runner, tablecloth, same thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
all right. So back to eBay. Generally, our sales have been slow still. We don't get into like what sold this past week because I mean we do we do a lot of volume, but it's just like
not as much as we used to. Yeah.
And occasionally I will on Instagram throw up something cool, like, hey, check this out. This sold, had it for 2 years and it's sold. So I try to kind of let people know it's okay to hold on to things for a long time if they're going to sell for a lot. But if you're talking like under $50, don't hold on to stuff for that long. Just blow it out.
Yeah.
Keep on moving stuff. So, our eBay is kind of down 50-ish% or more.
No, it's a little, at this point, it's probably a little less than 50%. Actually, no, I don't know. It varies. Last month was a little better than the month before. It's just concerning when your ITR has dipped so much. So something's affecting that. In January, our ITR had been like higher than normal. It's like, well, what was affecting that? We weren't really doing anything differently. So, but that was the environment. That was the, external forces that we had no control over. And unfortunately, we don't have control over some of it now either. So,
okay. And we talk about this. It seems like we always talk about this on the way to the warehouse. It's like, what do you think it is? And we're like, consumer confidence. Gas is expensive. Inflation's out there. It's no joke. People feel it. People feel like this is tight. Like I can't afford this. And so what do? They don't necessarily buy as much. That's just how it is. That's what we attribute it to. We're not saying, oh, it's eBay's fault. Their platform is not good. I don't think that's the case at all, because We know people that strictly sell on other platforms, and they're experiencing the same thing.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of across the board on several platforms. Everybody's hopeful that the fourth quarter with, Christmas and gift giving is going to increase things, but I don't know. We don't really sell a lot of that stuff. So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
just think if you have the funds, the money, the resources to buy, keep on buying. I look at the inventory as a savings account. If you're going to have cash sitting in a bank not making any interest, you're better off buying at least some inventory, because most people could triple their money. And so I think it's a good time to continue to buy, maintain your behavior of sourcing and enlisting. And you can't control the consumer's behavior. And I do believe that I almost said the myth of enhancing your listing, enhancing the photos, enhancing the title. I do believe that helps, but I think that's really down here. I think you need to source smarter. You need to really almost research a little bit more prior to buying. Be more selective with your sourcing. That's going to result in faster sales. So that's where it starts. It starts with
True. They always
yeah.
say you make your money when you're picking, when you're sourcing.
Yeah. Heidi even says, so Samers can hit us all. Stinks. That was not just us. Because S, who's a newbie, I mean, he didn't curse, but he's kind of refrained from the last little word there. Come on. So anyway, you have to be super selective. I was sharing with Lori last night. We sell Texas Instrument TI-83 plus calculators. I don't have any in my office here, but over the last 2 years, we accumulated so many of these. They were just out there. And I was like, $10, I'll buy them for $10, $8, flea markets, just stockpiling these things. Last year, they didn't sell well because kids weren't in school. They're all at home. Now, what are you telling me? They don't need a calculator at home? I don't get it, but they didn't sell well. But this year we had like a big tub of probably 130 of them, just full. And I went through them. This is like 2 months ago. Did an Instagram story on it. And, I was thinking now's the time. It's back to school. It's September. So I tested a bunch out. I would say 70% of them were okay. The rest they didn't work. They didn't power on. They had a black screen. There was pixelation. There's a lot to go wrong with them. Mm-hmm. But I know that it's still okay because I could still, put them as sell them as a lot of to be repaired, because there's people out there that will. I think we have something up there like 50. We have 50 or 55, lot of 55 calculators, broken, need repair. They sell for like $5 each at this time. They used to sell for 10. So I had this one guy who's interested, and I'm like, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. And he started asking questions. Do you have this? Do you have? So I was kind of like accommodating him, Laura. I was like, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. And then I responded, and he kind of ghosted me for like a week to 10 days. Then I reached out to him again. Now he's asking more. So it goes back to, what S was saying, the shady stuff. I'm not going to keep his stuff up there. But when you have a certain buyer that is questionable, back away. You don't have to run after them and cater to them.
That's correct. Because usually our experience is the ones that are seem to be problematic before the sale are usually problematic after the sale. And so you have the choice to deal with that person or not. And this is the other thing too. I know eBay likes us to respond to messages and be attentive. And I don't know how much that really impacts your the algorithm or whatever. But I do think it helps. But just because somebody reaches out to you and asks a question doesn't mean you have to answer, especially if they're not nice or they're silly questions. I don't know. I mean, some people will respond all the time, but sometimes you just get too many of them and you can't.
Okay.
You just can't.
I hope nobody from eBay is watching this, but
why?
Because I'm going to say something.
Uh-oh.
When I
Don't
get
say
a
something you're going to regret.
no, it's not that bad, but let's be real. Our time is money. And if people are going to make us jump through hoops and not buy something and or kind of set us up for the return, no. Every time we list a camera, mainly a camera lens, and you get a question of, does it have any haze, fungus, dust? Is it clear? Is the aperture? And I'm like, I don't know what this guy's. Don't respond. Now, what you definitely don't want to do is reply and be like, get lost. You're bothering me. All right. You could say that to yourself, but my advice is just say like, we test these the best we can. We're selling it as is. And
it's really not hard to see if it has haze or fungus though, when you're processing it.
Right. But
so that it should be in there if it was already just determined, and they shouldn't even have to ask.
Mm-hmm. And Heidi brings up a funny point. It's like, yes, you block a buyer. You can block bidders, block buyers on eBay who is constantly rapid fire lowball offers. Super annoying. Totally.
Yeah, you can block them from buying, but you can't block them from messaging you.
Oh, that's true. So just be nice to people, or just you know who they are. So she picked up a TI 89, paid $4, sold for 35 plus ship.
Yeah,
that's what we love. We love that kind of small, easy thing to ship. It's
the
fun.
TI 84s, either silver or silver plus edition, I think they're worth even more, even though they used to be remember they were selling for like $60, $70 last year, Dave.
Yeah,
and now like we weren't selling any of them until we realized, that's because that's not what they're selling for anymore. And ours were like the most expensive ones listed. And so once we fixed the price, they started selling.
Right. So that gets into the eBay nerd talk. Would you like to take over? This is your area.
Okay.
Relisting, ending and relisting at the end of every month.
Oh, I mean, it depends on what you sell. So, I mean, the prevailing wisdom from eBay is that you don't want to do that. But that's because it does break the connection between eBay and the Google listing for your item. So if you do sell a lot outside of eBay, like on Google Shopping and things like that, you probably don't want to end and relist your items, because that is true. Now, however, if most of what you sell gets bought because they go to eBay and not Google, then that's irrelevant for you. So if you sell one-offs, if you sell like a whole bunch of individual things, personally, for us, listing and forgetting is a recipe for disaster, because the longer that listing is out there, the less desirable eBay sees it, and they're going to put it down in search because they consider it old, because it is. So some people end and relist their items monthly, like every 30 days, just like they used to have 30-day listings, which eBay always said was good if you sold one-off items. Now, if you sell multi-quantity items, you have 100 of the same thing, you want that good till canceled listing. And that was the case before they changed it.
Yes.
So that should be the case now, which would be the same for the other situation. But apparently that's not true.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have multi-quantity, you keep because eBay wants to see that history that you've sold that item over and over. So you're going to get a bump up in search for that particular item. Sorry.
No, you're right. I just breathed.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were going to say something. What was I going to say? Oh, you just have to be careful. The thing you have to be careful about with relisting is, in my opinion, you have to do it the right way and not do it so that you can accidentally relist things that shouldn't be relisted. So anything that ends up in your ended listings, if it's not supposed to be there, you could accidentally relist. And there's several reasons why you could put something in your ended listings. And if it does, and so usually you put something in your ended listings because you don't have the item for whatever reason. So you just have to be careful when it comes to that, especially if you cross list to other platforms, and it gets really, really confusing. So, and we're almost out of time.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't want to keep rambling.
I know. I think what Thrift Sisters is saying, you guys are so funny. Maybe it's because my eyes started glazing over like that again.
Sorry.
But you do a great job.
Oh,
seriously. A student right there. Good tip for the lens: shoot on a white paper. If you see anything, it has damage. That's true. You could see fungus, you could see haze, you could see all that. Only thing about it is you have to have a camera body to test out the lens. I know.
Actually, we don't usually. We have them completely separated, and you just hold them up to the light. You hold it up to really good light, and you
Mhm.
can usually see if it's got haze or fungus or any, irregularities.
Yeah,
And Mhm.
but then you get the people like, oh, is the Finnegan pin straight and the Finotny rod, and we're like, huh, come
The
on,
light,
man,
well,
go to
yeah,
Best
on
Buy.
on cameras without the lens. Actually, I think it's better the other way around. It's you need a lens and a camera to check out the camera.
Yeah. Oh, you need to have the lens on to,
Yeah,
right.
to see if it like and the one thing that people always
Ugh.
want to know is if the light meter works. And I'm like,
Uh,
oh, I forget.
we've been selling cameras for how many years?
I know, right?
I
And we
wish.
hardly know anything about
I hope
that.
eBay's
I
not
mean,
watching now. Bad.
we've
Oh,
learned. And you know what? You learn by selling them, and then somebody sends it back because they're like, oh, they know more about it than you do. And like, oh, okay, for the next time I'll know.
I processed 15 cameras and lenses yesterday,
Oh,
and
really?
each one I was doing, I was like, I don't know if this is working, and I don't know if this, but
Well, I hope they're going on your account.
I don't know. This is why she stays away from cameras, and she's a photographer. It's so true. It's
Wow.
so we also, we're going to end within a minute, but we also, same thing with sewing machines. We should stay away from that because Mildred, Edna, Margaret, they know their stuff. Dave and Lori really don't.
We used to have somebody on staff who did, and that was really helpful.
Oh, that was amazing. I would grab. Oh, never. I would find beat up looking like Berninas in the bins and just say, "What do you think?" She'd be like, "Oh yeah,
And
it's
she
this
tests the
and
whole
this and
thing
this."
out and did tell us a whole big
She,
report about
and
it.
she, oh, it was great. And she's like, it doesn't have the pedal, but I had the equivalent pedal at home, so I brought it home, and it was so spoiled. It was great.
Yeah.
And so, thank you, everyone. It's a minute after 6. It's been
Yeah.
an hour and 2
I know it goes
minutes.
by so
It
fast,
really
man.
does.
It really
As you
does.
can tell, this is what keeps us together for 26 years, talking about eBay returns, fungus, haze and fungus and lenses. But you have to have fun with it. Don't let these wacky buyers get you down. Just have fun. Bake it into the process. Bake the returns into the process, and
Right.
that's about it. So keep on having fun out there, and follow us on Instagram, eBliss Reseller. If you have any questions during the week, just DM us. I mean, this is what we do. If you come across something, you're like, hey, I don't know how to look at this, we may know somebody that we could put you in touch with to help you out. So DM us, follow us, and we'll talk to you next
Yeah.
week. We're going to be in
Yeah.
Vegas, and we will be doing a live from our glamorous hotel suite. It's not a Motel 6, please. Super 8?
No, I promise you it will not be that.
Does it have an outdoor pool?
I think so, but I don't think we'll be live from there.
Okay, sounds
No,
cool.
but we will be live from Vegas next week.
All right. Yes, that should be good. And we're driving out, so wish us luck. Follow us on Instagram. Follow our journey. It should be fun and boring. And let's hope I don't hit one of these on the road.
Oh my
All right.
gosh, you had to say that.
Oh, it's shedding all over the place.
Oh my goodness. All right, we're out
Bye,
of here.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.